Hi, I'm Sakshi Kumar and I'm the Program and Content Manager at Community Business. I'm also a trained counselor and a certified mental health first aider with a MA in counseling and applied psychology. I've worked with several organizations on social delivery, diversity and inclusion, and counseling. And I specialize in strategy and training on employee well-being, including stress management, emotional wellness, as well as building resilience. Over the past 3 months, we've designed and delivered virtual sessions for several companies across the region on dealing with stress and anxiety in the workplace during COVID-19, as well as enhancing and embracing mental health in the workplace and employee well-being. COVID-19 has completely altered our working landscape, and many companies are looking to support their employees with these issues. In this video, I will be sharing some of the common questions that have come up in our sessions, and will be also sharing suggestions on how we might address them. One of the common questions that we get is, how do I deal with the anxiety of returning back to work? First of all, it's completely okay to feel anxious about returning to work. Much of the messaging we've received so far up to this point is about physically distancing ourselves, working from home, and socially isolating ourselves or physically isolating ourselves. To now shift the narrative that we have in our mind and are shifting our understanding about this is of course going to be a little challenging and anxiety provoking. So the first step to tackling your anxiety with this is to figure out what is it that you have control over and what you do not have control over. Then it is to actively look at managing your anxiety on things that you have control over, and also using tools and tricks such as developing your body awareness, paying attention to your breathing, drawing attention to your tightness in the shoulders that you might feel. Developing that level of awareness so you can start to understand that you are feeling anxious, and then move to using tools such as breathing exercises and other ways to really de-escalate the high anxiety levels that you might be feeling. Secondly, for instance, if you have to use public transport to commute to work, it's very likely that you might find yourself in a crowded place at some point. So in that time, what is in your control is how you choose to respond to it and how you choose to carry out behaviors that are likely to protect yourself, such as maintaining good hand hygiene, washing your hands with soap when you can, and using alcohol-based hand sanitizer if you're not able to wash your hands when you are out and about. It's very important to try and not touch your face, and also important to maintain a physical distance in situations where you can, and wear a mask. It is also important then, once you have an understanding of all of this, to communicate this with your line manager and tell them about how you are feeling. If you feel you can't communicate this with your line manager, we would suggest getting in touch with somebody and speaking to someone else on your team or within your organization. But really to also think about communicating how you might need to shift or adjust your work hours so you don't find yourself having to commute during the rush hour initially. Another question that we often have come up is, I feel like I'm working longer hours due to the pressure to be available to my team and my manager. I feel exhausted and I no longer know how long I can keep up this way of working. And I think that's quite a fair question, and probably something we all can really relate to. This is really due to a breaking of boundaries between the personal and the professional. And while there are several advantages of working from home, this can really be quite challenging in terms of how we manage our workload, but how we also are disciplined about maintaining the boundaries between personal and professional and striking that balance to achieve that work-life harmony. Some suggestions over here would be to really create a dedicated workspace. Even if this is a particular desk and a chair, it's really important to train our brain to receive a visual cue of, this is where I'm starting my work mode, this is where I'm going to sit down and have my calls. And it's also a way to get your brain started about, this is this is the time that we focus. Another thing is also perhaps set up a ritual before you start your day and something to mark the end of your day. This could be having a cup of coffee and looking out the window before you sit down and have a lot of screen time, which can also really contribute to the fatigue that we feel. And I would also say the third thing you can do is set up notifications in your calendar, whether it is blocking time for focused work or setting up time for preferred meetings, and also blocking and letting your team members and manager know that you have other priorities at this time. This can help bring a level of transparency to the way that you work and help your organization and your manager really understand the reason for being unavailable. And the other thing I would say is to really reflect on the priority of the task that comes in. The next time you get a message pop up in your inbox that is officially outside of your work hours, perhaps ask yourself about the urgency and the priority of the task, and is it something that you can hold off on responding to and get back to the next day. If you and your team are facing similar issues, why not get in touch with the Community Business Consulting and Training team to explore what the right solution could be for you.